y'all, welcome to Fitting and Homemaking. My name is Sarah, and today we are going to be doing some seasonal cleaning. So it is the first part of November, and the seasonal cleaning that I want to focus on today is getting the air quality in the house good to go for the colder weather when we are not opening the windows as much. Now, I do plan on opening these windows a little bit later today because it's supposed to be gorgeous, lovely fall weather. But one thing that we need to do is I need to wash these curtains. These curtains are luckily machine washable. So I'm gonna take them down, and you can see there's some stains and stuff on them. This is my kids' room, as you may have been able to tell. So they like to play hide and seek behind here, and you know, just stuff gets dirty. So we're gonna be washing some curtains. There's also some curtains in the kitchen that I'm going to wash. I will not be washing the curtains that are in my bedroom because those are cotton velvet, so those have to be dry cleaned, and not dealing with that today. So we are going to wash the curtains that can be washed in the washing machine. We are going to be taking off the floor registers and just vacuuming the top part of the vent. Obviously, I can't vacuum the entirety of the HVAC system because I don't have the tools for that, but at least getting the top portion of it dust-free, hair-free, possibly toy-free, depending on what my kids have been doing. So that's another thing we're going to be doing. And then we're also going to be vacuuming the blinds throughout the house. So that's what we're focusing on, and changing out the HVAC filter. We do that about every 90 days or so, and it's telling me that it's time. So I'll show you guys that. It's super easy, but we will do that as well. So let's go ahead and get the curtains down and get those started in the wash first so that they can be washing and drying while we get the rest of this done. All right. Now I do like to use the French curtain rods so the curtains can go all the way to the wall. These are blackout curtains, but with this type of curtain rod, you just unscrew one end. Sorry for the heavy breathing. I don't know why I just did that all the way in. I'm gonna have to take it down again. All right, these can just go on the floor, so they're gonna be washed. Let's go over here. Won't put that one all the way in. All right, and you can see I do like the longer curtains that go to the floor, so the bottom's probably pretty dusty and hairy. All right, that's done. I'm going to take these to the laundry room. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is check these for stains. So I'm gonna lay them out on the floor here. Now I'm assuming most of the stains are gonna be kid height or lower. All right. And I just use the OxiClean spray. There's one right here. Let's see, is there any other ones on the front? No. All right. Flip it over. All right, I don't know if that's picking up on camera, but there's a big blotch right here of something. And get that sprayed. And there's some other blotches. I'm sure these are just from my kids playing with the curtains and them having food on their hands or their mouth or whatever, and it getting on here. In case you're curious, these curtains are called Oakdale, and they're made out of polyester. but I really liked the pattern on here. I'll get you guys a close-up of the pattern a little bit later. And it looks like we got a few strings on here. So I'll cut those off before we put them back up. That one's done with the spray treatment. So let's go ahead. I think it just says gentle wash because of the, let me check. Machine wash in cold water, gentle cycle. Use non-chlorine bleach when needed. Tumble dry, low heat. Warm iron if needed. All right. So we'll put that in here. Go ahead and switch it to the gentle cycle so I don't forget, which is just called hand wash on ours. All right. I don't think I see any stains here. Yeah, I'll bring you guys closer so you can see the weave of it. So it's this kind of green, almost embroidered, but it's just woven in. So I think that's very cute. And you can see right there, we're on the hand wash cycle now instead of the normal cycle. All right, I don't see any stains on that side. Let's look on this side. Yeah, there are a few stains on this side. So let's get those out. I'm less washing these for stain removal. I mean, I don't want them to be stained a long time, but I'm more washing them just for dust purposes. All right, I don't see any other ones. So those are in there. So now it is time to go get the kitchen curtains and pick this up off the floor so I don't trip on it. All right, y'all, I don't know how well you can see this because, as always, there's wonderful light streaming in through here because this is the south side, or it's the south-facing side of the house. But this is just on a tension rod, so I'm going to hop up on a chair and get the shears down here, and I'll show you the pattern on these as well. I love the pattern on these. It is just so beautiful, and I don't think you've ever really seen it on a camera just because it's usually just a wall of light coming through. All right. Now, let's see. Get that right against the cabinet. All right, is this just... My husband put this one up. Not sure if it's just a tension rod or if it's like a screw-in tension rod, but it is definitely very tight in here moving the paint. Let's see if I can come over here. Right in your way. Let me see. Oh, goodness. That is just stuck on there, isn't it? Does this come off? Does that help? Let's put that in the sink so I don't break that. Goodness gracious. Is it just melted into the paint? I think it might be, but these really do need to be cleaned because I know they have stains on them from cooking. How far in does that go? Oh, there we go. Yeah, definitely was painted on there. Whew. Yeah, that made me really out of breath. I feel like I'm so out of shape. This is go in there so I don't get them even more dirty. I'll try to lower the volume on the sound of my breathing. Okay. All right, here are our very dirty curtains. They're even dirtier than I thought on our dirty table. All right, but can you see the beautiful like applique flowers and then the embroidered? I think that's just so beautiful. So you can see stains here, like this flower is a totally different color now. And on the back, the bottom here where it sits on the windowsill is quite stained. I'm sure this one is the same. Let's take a look. Yeah, the bottom of that one has some stains here. It's not too bad. But yeah, I don't know if these stains, the discoloration on here is being picked up. Like this is even like a little chunk of food. But yeah, some of the embroidery, you can see there's been some tomato stain on that. So let's take this to the laundry room and get it cleaned up. All right, I'll bring you guys in a little bit closer. All right, so we have the other room, curtains in there. This is I'm just gonna give it kind of an overall spritz, but I sprayed those spots. It's just like window grime. And this is just one of our usual delicates bags. Since they're sheer and they have like the applique on there, I don't want to have it get ripped up. And of course I'm going to have to wipe off the dryer after spraying this on top of it. Yeah, goodness. Like the dirty hem of pants. All right. I'll put a couple of these in. So we're on hand wash, cold water. That seems great. Let's start. We'll clean this up real quick. Let me go get a clean rag. All right. And if you're wondering about this splotch, that is from, might as well just clean up the rest of it. That is from a bag that was sent home from daycare that had my son's name on it written in marker. And of course I didn't think about it and just set it on there. And now it's stained and I can't get it off. But I mean, it's got rust. The paint's come away over here from the detergent that I used to have dripping on it. So repainting the top white will just be a project for another day. All right, let's move on to, since we're in this area, let me close this so you can actually hear. Whew, that was loud. So let's move on to switching out the air filter, because that is right around the corner here. Let me swoop you guys around. All right, so we're just changing out the air filter for here. This is the intake for our HVAC system. We have a dual AC and gas heater unit. And I just buy these in 3 packs from Home Depot. They're the FPR5. My father-in-law is in, or he used to be in HVAC, and he said don't buy the expensive ones for here because they just make your system work harder. This is not the filter for the air that's coming into your home. It's the filter for the air that's being sucked out of your home into the HVAC system. And there's a different filter that actually the air goes through before it comes in the house. And for us, that's actually under our crawl space. But Let me see if I can get this open without getting a, yay, I was able to do it without getting a screwdriver. This one gets stuck a lot. But obviously you can see that we need to change this out. Look at the difference in color there. I don't know if I can do that, but the sun's kind of coming through. But oh my gosh, that's so disgusting. Okay. So this guy's gonna go out. And then they have little arrows on here that says airflow, but usually the part with the metal and like the extra support is the part that goes up to towards the inside. And ours are just 20 by 20, so I shouldn't be able to put it in the wrong way. There we go. All right, that will be nice. And I should actually take this off and clean it because it is so dirty. I don't know if you guys can see how dirty that is, but first, it's also bent. All right, you guys need to come up here. So see the little warning sign here, little warning symbol? That was telling me that I needed to change that out. So what we can do is go to the menu and go to alert, select, and it's telling me replace air filter. I'm gonna hit select again. I don't want to snooze it. I want to clear it. All right, and then we just go back home. And now I don't have my warning signal. It's like checking off an alert. It feels fantastic. Okay, maybe that's a better view, but this is so dirty. A lot of this is just, I don't know if you can see that coming clean, but it's got a lot of dust and it's got a lot of dirt. So I think I'm gonna give it a quick dusting with the duster. I don't think that's gonna do much, but then I'll go and get just a small bowl with soapy water, like a little bit of dish soap and water and a cleaning rag, and we'll try to get this a little bit cleaner. Now it is a different color from the wall just because, you know, it's not white, it's cream, and the wall is kind of whitish, not really. Anyhow, let me get the duster and get the bowl of soapy water. I'll be right back. All right, hopefully you can see that okay. This is not drinking water, bud. It's not drinking water, it's cleaning water, okay? Just see if I can get some of the worst of the dust off. Oh, it's actually working quite a bit better than I thought it would. As you can see, my normal just little swipe up, swipe down when I dust this normally is not sufficient for actually getting it clean. Now, a lot of this does kind of look like paint on here, so I don't think I'll be able to get that off, but at least I'll be able to get the rest of the dust off that's not coming off with the little duster here. Well, I'm actually impressed. Maybe I should spend a little bit more time dusting this when I do my dusting. Although, let's be honest, I don't dust as often as I should because I don't like it. All right, let's see if I can get this open again, because I don't want to get the filter wet that I just put in there. Oh, there we go. Come on now. There it goes. All right. And this just unhooks at the bottom. All right. You're gonna help me clean, Max? You helping me clean? All right. Oh, well, the stuff I thought was paint, apparently not paint, so that makes me feel gross and disgusting. It's things like this that I just neglect to clean a lot because they're so tedious to clean. I mean, probably the better thing to clean this with would be a toothbrush, but we've already started. We're going to continue stubbornly instead of going and getting a better tool. All right, well, that's already looking quite a bit better. Maybe that's the better technique instead of trying to stick my finger in there and doing it. Yeah, I might have to go and redo the earlier ones because back there it's not really getting that clean. Y'all, this is so freaking tedious. I mean, obviously, cleaning anything like this is tedious. This is also something that is in my entryway. And if you've watched some of my other videos where I do work in my entryway, you know I dislike my entryway a lot. Ooh, ouch. That didn't hurt, but I just messed up my nail. I broke a nail, guys. Actually, I didn't. Just chipped the top part, which is why we have nails, to protect our fingers. So let's not put our finger in there like that again. All right, and that's getting a little hard to reach, so let's flip it over and hope I don't lose my spot. All right, so this is definitely not one of my favorite cleaning tasks. Like, already so bored with it, my mind is screaming at me to go do something else. And you know what, I might if I was not doing a video, but I'd rather just have this all in kind of one slot and have it sped up for you guys, because I know if it's tedious for me to do, it is probably tedious for you to watch. But I just want to get this done also. So trying to power through, thinking about how it's going to look afterwards and hoping with everything, every portion of my being, that it will show up on camera for you guys well. But honestly, I did think a lot of this was paint, and it's gonna look so much better for us. Oh, yeah, I'm too old to sit like that for long. It's just me, Max. Yeah, it's just me. What is it, Max? What is it? I didn't see anyone come on. When I'm done with this, I'll let you out back, okay? if I stop doing this, I probably will not come back to it. And I'll just cut it out of this video. And that would be a shame because I'm almost 3/4 way there. All right, let's turn it around again. It's getting pretty hard to see what I'm doing. All right, guys, I don't know if this is showing up on camera, but I can see exactly where I am because the grate is literally a different color. Which does not say a lot for my housekeeping skills, does it? But it is seasonal cleaning day, so we kind of anticipate that all of the things that we are going to be cleaning are going to be pretty dirty. And by seasonal cleaning day, I just mean that I'm doing a little bit of seasonal cleaning. I would never do a full day of seasonal cleaning. I mean, because that would be like doing the windows and the screens and, you know, the curtains and all of that, and cleaning appliances. So, okay. So I can see kind of where I started to clean that way. I'm gonna go back and just clean up the edges on these other ones over here so that when I get to the end of that last row, I feel like I'm actually truly done and don't have to like go back and do this little touch-up BS. But what I was starting to say before was that, what was I talking about? Seasonal cleaning. Geez, Sarah. It's not like this takes a lot of brain power to do. You can focus on talking and doing this. But there are other types of seasonal cleaning, like other seasonal cleaning tasks, and I would never ever be able to fit them into one day, you know, especially with working full time. This is just like, I have to do it in bite-sized pieces, and that also helps keep me from getting too overwhelmed. It's mostly these edges that didn't get it. So, oops, that one I guess in the middle needed it more too. So I do have some more like fall seasonal cleaning videos, kind of like spring cleaning. The fall cleaning is just getting the house ready to kind of nest in it for the winter. So I'm hoping to do one where I clean the screens and the windows because obviously in winter you get less direct light. That's what makes it winter, right? And you want all the light possible coming through your windows, so it's a good time to make sure that your windows are clean. And for us, we have screens on our windows here, so also making sure that those are clean. I'm gonna wait until probably there's an overnight freeze at least once because bugs. I don't want to take off the screens and be cleaning the windows and have mosquitoes getting in the house specifically. Other bugs I don't care about as much, but the mosquitoes are not welcome. I mean, roaches too. I don't like roaches in the house either. All right, so I don't know if that is on camera or not, but look at my pants. If that's on camera, sorry if it's not on camera. That's just from holding this on my lap and trying to get this done. So yes, I realize I'm cleaning this side twice, but that's because the back parts and the sides did not get clean, and it's gonna bug the snot out of me if I spent this much time cleaning the rest of it properly and not cleaning this part properly. All right, I think we're at the point where we can turn that around. It's a little bit easier to clean it this way because I can see through the slats. Max, that's enough, buddy. Also thinking now I probably just could have gotten a big tub, although I don't have a tub that is 20 by 20, and just shove this right in there and done that and let it soak. And it probably would have been easier. But today we're doing the work harder, not smarter technique, apparently. All right, let's get this stuff off the middle. Oh, that's so satisfying. Okay. Last column. Just wish there was a better way to hold this. There's just like no good, comfortable way to hold this. I just had a random thought of maybe I should post this as a good video to fall asleep to. Mundane cleaning to fall asleep to. You know, like how they have those like 3-hour history YouTube channels, boring history to fall asleep to. Although I find even the most boring history really fascinating for some reason, so that I've never tried listening to one of those. Maybe I should. Maybe they've figured out how to make it boring. Or maybe they just have a person with a very soothing voice talking about it. In college, I did have a professor. Is it like Near East history? I can't remember. It was like in the, do you even call that Near East anymore? Is that appropriate? I don't know. But like in the area of Turkey, that sort of thing, where Europe and Asia meet. And I really loved the class and the material was really interesting, but he had such a good, soothing, like bedtime story voice that it was so hard to stay awake. There was only one class that I actually fell asleep in during college. And it was not a history class, it was a statistics class. You know, it was like the statistics class that everyone takes if you're not majoring in statistics. And the teachers knew that, and luckily they were very good-humored about it. And they're like, yeah, stats aren't for everyone. We're gonna try to make it a little bit fun of like teaching you of how people use numbers to lie, essentially. And they're like, depending on how you do it, it's very easy to lie with numbers and get biased reports and that sort of thing. Now, I'm not saying don't believe peer-reviewed scholarship and that sort of thing, but question the little graphs that you see in the newspaper that someone just whipped up who has an agenda. Okay, so do people even read newspapers anymore? I think I really just dated myself there. Anyhow, you know what I mean. Be skeptical of reports coming from biased sources, because it's easy to make the number say what you want it to by framing questions in a specific way. Anywho, I fell asleep in that class once, but I think it was only for 5 minutes because I woke up and they were still on the same transparency that I had already written all the notes for. Also dating myself, I don't know if you guys, pretty certain no one still uses overhead projectors and transparencies, but they did when I was in college. They also used slide decks, like with actual individual slides. They were just like transitioning to the newfangled thing known as PowerPoint. So I definitely remember one of my professors walking in and he had 2 slide decks and one was stacked on top of the other and he dropped one. And then all the students helped him kind of pick it up, and then he'd hold one up to the light and see what it was and put it back in the order that it needed to be in for his lecture. It took a little while. Like this, not unlike this. See how I tied it in there? Y'all, we're so close to the end. Oh, let's switch it around. All right, go through and get the little spots that I missed because I couldn't see them from the angle that I was looking. I can tell the spots where I was working from the other direction because I didn't see some of these spots. It's amazing if you look at something one way and then you turn it around, it looks completely different. I'm sure there's some sort of life lesson in there. I was teaching my kids about that when we were on a little hike this weekend, about going one way on the trail looks completely different from going the other way. So even if it's an out and back rather than a loop, the way back is still interesting. You'll still see lots of new stuff that you didn't see on the way out. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for this. Okay, I think that looks 1,000 times better. Regret not cleaning it before. Oh no, I'm hooked. I just saw a big blotch here. Let me see if I can get that one from underneath this way. No, I guess that's permanent. Okay. Do you see how much effort I put into that? I'm overdoing this. All right. Ugh. So rather than slap that bad boy straight on there, I'm actually going to spill water all over the floor over here, probably out of frame. I'm going to take this out real quick and give this around a good wipe down, because this is also just caked with dust. Goodness. Try not to drop my rag down there. That would be unfortunate. All right, so this was not on the list to do today, but that's okay. It's part of changing out the filter. Honestly, I should be giving this a wipe down every time I change out the filter, right? And I have not been, obviously. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that part. I can see down in here and like 2 feet down, I could probably get the vacuum hose and clean that out, but no. Nope, we're gonna move on. We've got other stuff we need to do today. All right, put that back in. Wipe all the dirt off my hand. And get this guy back in. All right. Hooked in at the bottom, hooked in at the top. I am a little disgusted with myself about how much of a different color that is, because you know what? Not that far off from the actual wall color now. Gosh, you guys, sometimes I gross myself out. Why do we not clean these things up more often? Anyhow, I hope that's encouragement for you to, attack some place that maybe you have neglected, or just, your normal seasonal cleaning. Maybe you haven't neglected it as much as I have. Voila, I think it looks wonderful. All right, let's move on to getting the vacuum out and vacuuming the blinds and just vacuuming out the top part of the floor registers. Let's get this cleaned up. Look at that water. Yuck. All right, I'm gonna go put this stuff up. I'm going to throw Dusty here into, well, honestly, I'll probably just put it in the garage because I'm not wearing shoes right now. Put it in the garage to throw in the bin the next time I take Max out for a walk. And then we'll get out of the vacuum cleaner and move on to the next thing. All right, guys, the washing machine just clicked off, so let's go ahead and switch that over. Hopefully there's nothing in the dryer. Oh, there is. And it's wet. Well, we'll have to dry that again later. Where's my basket? Chaos ensues. Speaking of cleaning out filter areas and that sort of thing, I think maybe I just didn't start this because this is like washing machine wet. It still smells fine though, so I'll put it back in after I switch over the curtains because I really want to get the curtains done since they're blackout curtains, at least for the kids' room. And they like it nice and dark to sleep. Not that it's an issue now because it gets pitch black at like 5:30 at night, but I actually love standard time rather than daylight time, so. I will just absolutely have to remember to switch that back over. All right, so that stuff's out. I'll just have to remember to put it back in after the curtains are done. All right. And it did say that it was okay for these to go in the dryer, so I'm going to believe it. It actually looks like it held up pretty well in the washing machine. I was slightly concerned about the pattern getting pulled, but it doesn't seem to have. And honestly, I probably won't dry these for as long as I would normally dry clothes for. And actually, let me see if these, how many times can I say the word actually? These, I'm just gonna hang up and let dry. Oh, they look so much better. A little bit of lint, but looks like the tomato stains here didn't come out, which I didn't know if they would, but normally just hanging in the sun makes those come out. But the bottom of these is much cleaner. And these, I'm just gonna go and hang them up in the windowsill to dry because the sun is streaming in there. And it'll probably dry it a lot quicker than the dryer will anyway. But these other ones, since they are blackout curtains, they're a little bit heavier, so I do want to dry them at least a little bit, but they can still be damp when I hang them back up. So let's, okay, temperature's low, that's good. Let's maybe try just like 30 minutes or so. All right, let's take these guys to the kitchen. All right, let's see if I can wrestle these back on here. Go over there. Except for the tomato stains. The stains did come off. Oh yeah, this feels dangerous leaning over here. Should have cleaned up the dirty stuff, huh? My sink is groaning under my weight. Probably shouldn't be leaning against it like that. All right. There we go. I think that looks beautiful. And they are going to dry nicely there. All right, y'all, hopefully you can see the beautiful floor register. I guess I should get some more soapy water and just wipe this part off. But what we're wanting to do is just get the top area of this cleaned off. All right, y'all, hopefully that's an okay angle to see down in there. We're just gonna use the dust buster. Is this on all the way? Yep. All right, not a vast improvement, but slightly better. All right, and I got my soapy water here. You can see that side of the fins are pretty dirty. I'll just give the top a wipe down too. This portion of the video is how many different floor registers does Sarah have? The answer is quite a lot because some are from the previous owners and some we've replaced. All right, that one is good to go. Actually, let's clean since it's just right by the window and the curtains do hang to the floor, we have this air diverter. It's just a plastic cover. It shoots the air kind of more into the room. Get that cleaned off since we don't normally clean that off either. All right. And that will get cleaned when the heat comes on or just air dry. All right, so we were able to tuck the curtains back behind this so that it doesn't block the vent at night. All right, let's go on to the next one. Here is floor register number 2. We're in the kitchen now. This is one I replaced, but I'm like not happy with how it looks in the space. I should have just gotten one of the generic ones because I think it would have matched the floor better. But I was trying to go by memory and the other one was like broken and the kids kept messing with it. So, and this one also has smaller slots in it than what was here previously. So that if the kids did drop something down here, it would have to be pretty small to go through. Let's just clean the fins off here. All right. And we'll also give the floor a nice clean around here. Obviously, I don't move the floor registers when I mop. And obviously, I don't mop that often. All right, that's a little bit better. All right, that is good enough. Like I said, I mean, this is not getting the bulk of what is in the vents or what's in the ventilation system, but I know there's lots of hair and stuff that gets, you know, down there from Max and whatever little tidbits the kids have shoved down there. So it's worth doing a quick little vacuum. On to the next. All right. Ooh, this one's closed. That's no bueno. I mean, we do have a shelf a few feet above it, but that's fine. Why is the wall so dirty here? You guys can't see that, but I can. Kids are a joy, but they're also very messy. All right. Clean off the top of it a little bit. See. this is the dirty side of the fins. Let's clean those off. Sorry if this is really dark. The corners are a little bit harder to get light into. All right, that seems good. This might have more stuff since it was closed. All right. Pop this guy back in opened. And let's go find the next one. All right, and this is just the other side of the room. Right now we're in our main living area. So it has 2 vents. Let's see. And there is just stuff everywhere in my way. The little toy chest we have is right off camera here, making it harder for me to get to this spot. All right. All right, that one I could actually see quite a bit of stuff coming up, so that's not surprising since this is kind of where my kids play. Pop that guy back on there. There's another register by the front door, so let's go get that one. All right, so this is one that I replaced. This is the kind of one that I was talking about would maybe go better in the kitchen. Since it's a little bit closer to the floor color, but this one we did replace quite recently, so it's not really that dirty. Let's get the floor around here. The other floors around there didn't look too bad. All right. All right, at least I'm being able to get the stuff along the top rim here for the most part. All right. And I think I'm going to wait to do the vents in my bedroom until I can get those curtains cleaned and just do that all at one time. But that was the nursery, the main living area, the kitchen area, and yeah, that should have been it. All right, y'all, the curtains have just finished their short dry cycle. I didn't want to dry them for too long. Whew, steamy. I don't know if you can see that. My glasses fogged up there, but the ring's very hot. Let's take this out. They are still damp, but not like super heavy damp where I'm afraid they're going to, pull the rod off the wall. So let's go ahead and get these, oops, my dryer balls, back up in the nursery where they belong. Let's see, how do I drape? There we go. All right, y'all, I got my trusty chair back. Let's do this side since that's the side that's still unscrewed a little bit. I'm gonna be standing right in your way. That is not the right grip to use for that. There we go. All right, that side screw back in. Switch the chair here, and I'll go get the other one out of the dryer, and I'll floof them a little bit so that they can dry hanging properly. Be right back. It's the bottom. Where's the top? It's the bottom again. There's the top. Now, I don't usually like curtains with the grommet style. I don't like the look of them, but man, are they convenient to take on and off the rod. Just losing balls everywhere today. All right, let's go hang it up. Screw that. All right, let those hang. I want to make sure I didn't unscrew the other side. How annoying. Let's move this chair. All right. All right, so a little dark in this room now so that they have a little space to dry, but that is going to do it for today's video. We ended up, sorry, that was probably very loud. I don't know why I clapped so much. That's going to do it for today. We washed the curtains in the nursery and in the kitchen, and we changed out our air filter for the air intake into the HVAC system, and I cleaned off that really disgusting grating that goes in front of it. And then we cleaned the register covers and cleaned just the top part of the vents. And hopefully that will give us some nicer air quality. The curtains, they just hold on to dust, and I've tried vacuuming them and it just doesn't really work that well. So washing them, for me at least, is the way to go. I will put on my list to get my curtains dry cleaned and then clean the vents and the top of the ducts in my room once those are off at the dry cleaner, just so I can bundle it together. But please like the video if you like this kind of content. Comment down below what sort of seasonal cleaning things you do. I do have more videos planned with more seasonal cleaning. Things, like I said before, like cleaning the windows, cleaning out specific appliances that I only clean seasonally. Looking forward to learning how to clean out that espresso machine, because I don't think my husband has ever cleaned it out, and the steamed milk thing doesn't work now, and I would like to have my bougie tea lattes when I'm at home in the morning to warm me up. So that'll be coming up. I'll clean our humidifiers once we get to the portion of the season where it is dry. We're still kind of in the rainy fall season right now where humidifiers aren't necessary. But all of that fun kind of seasonal cleaning is coming up for y'all as additional. In addition to kind of the normal maintenance cleaning that I do and other baking and cooking and homemaking sorts of content, I do have a more crafty video coming up soon, which I'm excited about. So that's currently in the works. But please subscribe and hit the notification bell. I am trying to grow the channel, and I would love it so much to have you along for this journey. Thanks so much. Bye.